Good evening, Space Monkeys, and welcome to this week's Freelancing. I'm your host, BlueHighwind, and tonight our subject is extremely good news, I'm happy to say, and that is, I'm going to E3. Now this is a gigantic surprise to me as much as it could be to you. I imagine it's far more exciting for me than it is for you, considering I'm the one going, but, I mean, it's big news, because this came literally out of nowhere. Well, not entirely out of nowhere, but mostly out of nowhere, because right now this year isn't exactly my most financially secure. So let's say if I wanted to go to E3, completely impossible. I do want to go. I've always wanted to go. I've wanted to go since I heard about the damn thing, like 7 years ago. Since I heard about its existence back in the old days of the G4 channel. Anyway, luckily, thanks to I won this contest from Wikia. They're running it on the Nintendo Wiki. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit excited, so this is going to be more crazy than it usually is. Freelancing is usually a kind of YouTube podcast where I sort of ramble about topics. This week's going to be especially rambling, because I'm recording this a little bit late, a little bit on edge, because it's the week before I'm leaving. Kind of a big trip, kind of hugely exciting. I'm kind of nervous. I'm hoping I can do the best damn job I possibly can. So, Wikia was running this golden ticket contest where they wanted somebody who was a huge Nintendo fan, which I am. They wanted somebody who was a very good writer, somebody who could go and discuss things well, which I may not be in the top 1,000 of those people. I'm not massively talented. I'm not exactly a journalist per se by training. Everything I kind of do is very amateurish and forced. For example, Freelancing, one of these, which is just me talking into a cheap USB mic, which I got for $30 on a computer that is huffing and puffing so badly I can only imagine that the sound quality will be truly, truly awful. And it also means that this week I have to rush faster than I do normally because I want to get this post done in 20 minutes before the whole damn thing melts down. Because that's going to happen. So we're racing against the clock. Consider this a post with more excitement than usual because I'm going to be talking fast. Now, Wikia chose me for this. They looked at my reviews, they looked at some of the things I did, some kind of nerdy things. I actually, when I was talking directly with the guys, I was brought over to a few of their, I'm not exactly sure what their titles are. I don't want to call them executives, because I was told that's not their exact title. They're, I guess, like community organizers or something of the gaming Wikia hub. I was talking with them directly over kind of Skype, and one of the things I talked about was that Metroid idea I had for a kind of, let's make a sequel kind of to get over the Metroid Other M. You know, just one kind of fan thing I did for Nintendo, and there you go. I'm doubting that game's ever going to get made, but this is as close as I'm ever getting to the true heart. Or, I mean, I'm not going to go and limit myself to possibilities, but this is as close as I've ever gotten to the true heart of gaming, and it's almost like I'm a real journalist. Not really. I'm a contest winner. I just happen to represent a community of people online, basically all of Wikia Gaming and this Nintendo Wiki in particular, but, you know, I'm doing the job and I'm going to do as good of a job as I possibly can. So what this freelancing is kind of just talking about my excitement about the thing, which I guess I've already done, and to talk about what I'm looking forward to in E3, because that's what this is what the idea was already. It's like, I'm going to go and record a freelancing this week, because I got nothing better to talk about. Let's talk about what games are coming out in E3 and what looks cool. And actually, this year, quite a few things look cool. It could be a very, very good E3. It could be a kind of mediocre E3. I think last year's E3 was one of the very best ones. At least best ones that I've been following since back in the start of the PlayStation 3 era. Because there was a lot of games announced, and of course the big moment when the PlayStation 4 hit that massive coup against Xbox One. It's been a year, so you might already have forgotten, but Xbox One was trying to do all that awful, awful DRM bullshit. Which, now that I'm kind of a community representative, maybe I shouldn't be using curse words so freely. You know what? No. In that case, I'm willing to use the word bullshit. What Microsoft was trying to do with the Xbox One, all that no-use game, only one person could play the console. You can't even You can't even trade a disc. You can't even just, like, lend your disc to a friend. You can't do that. Ridiculous. And the PlayStation 4, Sony, they weren't having any of it. It was a great moment. I was watching the stream. I was applauding, along with the entire audience. That might be one of the best E3 moments ever. So this year, what's going on in E3 is that it's kind of the year after these big console releases. You got the PlayStation 4, which is clearly already the winner. You got the Xbox One, and they're kind of trying to define their place better. Last year's E3 was kind of the opening salvo. Now it's like, let me show you now that you've bought these consoles, why you want to keep these consoles. And I'm kind of forgetting the Wii U, but unfortunately the Wii U is almost in like a different category at this point, which is unfortunate because I think it may actually be the best console of the three. At this moment, if I were to buy any one of those three consoles, Wii U, hands down, no doubt. Because I look on the PlayStation 4, it has absolutely nothing I want to buy that I can't get on a PlayStation 3. I have a PlayStation 3. And even then, the games that have come out on the PlayStation 4, nothing all that great, to be fair. It's kind of been a bad year in gaming, it feels like to me. There's been a few really good games. There's been Bravely Default. There was... Yeah, the Bravely Default, I guess, is kind of it. Yeah, that's sort of the one game. I feel like... Am I forgetting something? I feel like I'm forgetting something. What do you think? There has to be something other than Bravely Default that's come out this year that's good. Child of Light is okay. I'm playing that and I haven't quite gotten into it so much, because there's a number of reasons, but it's okay, but it kind of feels a little too indie, kind of forced indie. I don't know, if I were to actually like sit down and really just burn through it, I could probably kill it in a day and get a decent review written. I'm just leaving it open for some reason. There's something about it that just hasn't quite pulled me in like it should have. Maybe. Or it's my fault, I'm just being lazy. I don't know. But 2014, really the reaction to Watch Dogs seems to sum up what a lot of people have been thinking about this console generation so far. And it's just kind of been like, it's okay, but it's not great. And there's all this talk about graphics and how well the game runs, and frame rate seems to be this recurring issue. It's not 60 or 100 frames per second, it's only 30. And I'm not getting it on that. I'm not a PC gamer. I'm a simple man, alright? I want to play games as simply as I possibly can, which is why I like Nintendo. That's Nintendo's philosophy. We're going to make relatively simple game consoles with classic-style fun games. We're not going to focus on graphics so much, because graphics are meaningless. It's just a tool that you go and you make a game with. So a game can be perfectly fine at 30 frames per second. The greatest game ever made, in my opinion, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, cannot possibly be more than 30 frames per second. So, you know, it might be the type of game. I can imagine a first-person shooter, you'd really want it to have a really high frame rate so that you can react as quickly as possible, which is hard to do on a console anyway, and I'm a console gamer, so I don't know. It all kind of feels really underwhelming. And maybe this E3 will be able to go and get us back on track, because I see PlayStation 4, they're not really changing their message, because their message is working. All they're coming out with is, we got great games, buy our console, buy these games. Microsoft, however, is actually making a huge pivot. Their Xbox One, originally, you had to get it with the Kinect, and they just released huge news last week. No more Kinect. You can just buy it without the Kinect, and you can buy it in even stronger style console. So they're backing up. They're realizing that their console may not be that great, that nobody friggin' wants a Kinect, that motion controls were a fad of the last generation. I don't know. I'm using that word fad. It's kind of derisive. I don't want to be overly derisive, because I understand what motion controls were. They had their place. But kind of in-game design and everything, what the artistic medium as it is, we don't really need motion controls. It was fine with the buttons. It was an interesting experiment, but I think it kind of hit a dead end. And that was, you could see that in Skyward Sword, which was an okay Zelda game, but hardly a great one, and the motion controls were really not what kept that game going. And I'm hoping that the next big Zelda game will not have motion controls, considering it's on the Wii U. It will inevitably be on the Wii U. But that's just my hopes and dreams. Anyway, let me go and talk about what games are definitely going to be there, and a few that I really hope are going to be there. So, first off the list, and I'm just going to do this randomly, and I might forget something, who knows. I'm going to have all of next week to go and talk about this sort of thing, and there'll be posts put up, I'm guessing on the Nintendo Wiki and other places. I guess Wiki will be putting up their own things. I'll keep you guys informed on that, what I'm putting up, what kind of things are happening. You'll be in touch, alright? You're not getting left out of the loop, it's just, I'll be kind of working in another sphere for a while. That's pretty much all that's happening. You'll get links to all that, and the final word, the final freelancing, I guess, I'm just going to make about the entire experience, I'll put up here. Or maybe not. You know what? I don't want to get to say what the final word is. I don't want to say anything about what's going to happen next week. I don't know. It's all a big thing. So, anyway, sorry. Let me get back on the point, which is the games I'm looking forward to. So, number 1, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Now, in simple, Ground Zeroes was awful. That was a really, really bad game. It's not even the length, really. And, you know, the length was a lot of it, but it's like you could have made a really impressive experience in 2 hours. I believe you can. Actually, the new game Transistor seems to have done that, because it seems like it's a really varied game with a big story and a lot of stuff happening. Ground Zeroes, it felt like a demo. Like, it felt like this is not an entire game that could stand on its own, and the tone was all wrong. It was so gritty and gross, and oh god, the ending where Paz had a bomb in her vagina, no. You know what, I've kind of reached a point in my life, I'm 23 years old, it's like, you can shock me, fine, but I want a justification for the shocking, and I don't think that fits the tone of this series. But, actually, this week, I think today, maybe yesterday, there was like a 2-minute demo posted, like of just somebody playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and from what I saw, Snake was in a box again, jumping up and shooting people in the head with his tranquilizer dart. And it looked ridiculous. It was this guy in a box crawling along the deserts of Afghanistan, and he's popping up like a big surprise. It might as well have had confetti as he's jumping out, and he's shooting somebody in the head, and I loved it. It's great. Those few seconds, and I'm really hoping there's going to be some kind of demo next week. I mean, the game's coming out, I think, next year. So, there's definitely going to be a new trailer, I assume. There's going to be new stuff. I'm pretty certain this is going to be at E3. And this is one of my really big upcoming games. Now, to actually say something about Nintendo, one that definitely 100% is going to be there, the new Super Smash Bros., who is called just Super Smash Bros. Actually, the Wikipedia page calls it Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. Which, if that's the official title, that's a horrible title. Call it Super Smash Bros. 4. Or call it Super Smash Bros. Brouhaha, whatever. Like, why do you gotta call it Super Smash Bros.? Give it a real name. But, anyway, from what I've seen of the trailers and everything, it looks like Super Smash Bros. You got new characters, you got Mega Man, you got Grey Ninja, you got, Lumina and, Rosalina. I'm trying to think. You got, one of the villagers who looks really creepy. This might be all the new characters they're announcing. I think I'm missing one. Did I mention Wii Fit Trainer? That guy's there too. So you got all them, and I'm hoping all the old characters are coming back. I can see Toon Link's there. I think they've announced him, which is fine by me, because Toon Link's my main. If I'm going to play Smash Brothers, I'm playing Toon Link. And, you know what? It doesn't look very different. It just looks like Smash Brothers again. But there ain't nothing wrong with more Smash Brothers. That's all I'm saying. More characters, more moves. It's gonna be awesome. Smash Brothers is the greatest fighting game series as far as I'm concerned. It's the only one I've ever really been all that interested in. I played other ones. I played Mortal Kombat. I played some Street Fighter. What was the other one? It was Soul Calibur 3 was when I played a bit. And I never loved them the same way I've loved Smash Brothers. It has just this great fun simplicity to it. You know, you can just get 4 people and just throw Smash Brothers in there. You don't need to memorize any combos or any of that ridiculousness. Which I guess if you're a hardcore fighting fan, you're not going to be all that into it. It's like, oh, it's a game for skill. And there is a lot of skill in Smash Brothers. It's just that, like, you can put a person randomly. You just need to be medium skilled and you can have a decent game. I have played against ridiculous masters. In college, there was one guy on my freshman floor. He was a monster. He would destroy us all, and he actually got way too into it. At one point, I actually beat him, and he looked like he was going to stab me in the face. And if I had not apologized right then, because I think I might have said something, like, in gloating, he just stared death at me. If I had not said something at that moment, like, I'm sorry, he might have cut my wrists that night and left me to die in the bathroom. Anyway, that's a little dark. Now, there's talk of the new big Zelda game coming out this year. No, not coming out, but having its first trailer. Kind of like 3 or 4 E3s ago, we saw the first image of Skyward Sword. There's some talk of that, and that's probably going to be on the Wii U, but there's no guarantee, there's nothing definite about that anyway. But what we do know is that Hyrule Warriors is going to be there. That's kind of, how can I describe this? It's like a hack and slash game. Alright, this is it. It's like The Legend of Zelda mixed with Dynasty Warriors. In fact, that's what it exactly is. It's made by the same developers of Dynasty Warriors. It just happens to have a Zelda skin on it. And you know what? If it's Zelda, I'm gonna play it. I don't care. I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game. I've always heard kind of bad things from press and like hardcore gaming journalists have always been like, it's just a game where you hit buttons. There's no skill to it. It's meaningless. But people who have actually played Dynasty Warriors, I've never heard anything but good things about Dynasty Warriors. Nobody ever seems to have nothing but a bad time about it. So I guess it's kind of a snobby thing. So, you know, if I'm going to play a Dynasty Warriors game, I'm going to play the one with Link in it. And so far, there's my one big hope about this game is that Sheik is playable in it. Sheik being, if you don't know who Sheik is, it's Princess Zelda's male form. Like, Zelda transforms into Sheik in Ocarina of Time and has been a recurring character in Smash Bros. In fact, Sheik has shown up more times in Smash Bros. Than she has in the series, in real Zelda. And I've always wanted there to be more Sheik. Sheik is a great character, really interesting. And in Smash Bros., one of the very best. Actually, to rewind a little bit, that's another big news. Zelda and Sheik, they used to be one character. You used to just hit B down and you turn into Sheik or you turn into Zelda. Now they're separate ones, which I think is a great move because Zelda, she's not that great of a character and Sheik is a really good one. So basically it was like you just had a character but you couldn't have a B down move, which isn't that good. It's like, oh, now crap, now I'm Zelda. I'm useless. That's just how I play it. I'm sure there's people who are beasts at Zelda, but I think Sheik is much better and don't hate me for that. So, Hyrule Warriors, I don't really have much to say too much about this game so much. It's Dynasty Warriors and it's got Zelda there. I'm not even sure if the game has a plot. Does it need one? Who really cares? Next up is not Japanese. It's Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, this is a action role-playing game. It's the third Dragon Age game, and I've never played a Dragon Age game. I actually got the first Dragon Age. I got it, like, really, really cheap used. And I took, like, one look at the back of the box after I bought it, and the screenshot just it didn't look that good. I kind of have this bias against Western RPGs, and it's just like they always look so cruddy. Like, they try to do too realistic. Like, here's the great thing about Japanese RPGs. You know, you can say anything about, like, oh, it's all anime, it's all cliches, it's all nonsense, but they have kind of this balance and this elegance to them, and there's a lot of great artistry there. But Western RPGs, it's always just like, it's like an old 80s medieval movie where everything's friggin' mud and everyone looks like they're covered in shit. You know, and that's what Western RPGs, that's just been my problem there. It's why I never played Skyrim, it's why I never played any of those games, and, you know what, Dragon Age Inquisition, it actually doesn't look bad. I want to play this game. If I'm going to start off, I might as well do this. I heard Dragon Age 2 sucked, so I'm not even going to bother. But, since I haven't played Dragon Age, and I don't really know too much about it, my only problem with this is that it's made by Electronic Arts. And, like everyone else in the world, I hate Electronic Arts. They ruined Command & Conquer. They ruined SimCity. So, you know, I don't need anything more to say about it. They just did that. Well, here's another big one. X, from Monolith Soft. This is the kind of sequel to Xenogears. No, not Xenogears. Xenoblade? Alright, let me go work it out. Xenogears, then Xenosaga, then Xenoblade. Okay, alright, so it's just X right now. I don't know I think X is just a temporary title, but it looks exactly like Xenoblade, except you have giant robots. And you know what? Xenoblade wasn't a bad game. I think what happened with me is that I put in like 40 or 50 hours into it because I was trying to do every single side quest. And what happened was I put so much into doing the side quests or whatever that I'd actually kind of hit the point where I already had a full game experience and I was only halfway through the story and I could not play anymore. I was just exhausted with it. So I put it down. I always meant to go back to it, but it never got to it. But now we have X. It's on the Wii U. It's got robots. We don't know much about it. It looks kind of like the exact same thing from what gameplay I've seen. Kind of the same MMO-style fighting, which I'm not a big fan of. I wish they could do something a little bit more traditional. I just don't like the idea that you can only control one party member. I just hate that in RPGs. Especially JRPGs. But, you know what? If it's got giant robots in there, I'm there. So, and I know a lot of people are really excited for this. Here's another one, Deep Down. This is a Capcom game. It looks like a Western RPG. This is something that's been happening lately. It's kind of like with Dark Souls and Demon Souls. Capcom's been making like Western-style RPGs with the same kind of grittiness to them. So Deep Down actually looks cool again, because you're fighting dragons and dungeons and stuff. I don't know much about this one either. I'm sorry to say. Again, this is what E3's for, so it's just a title I have my eye on. From what I saw in the trailer, you fight dragons. You fight dragons. The other thing Capcom's doing is a game called The Evil Within, which is not so secretly Resident Evil 7. And I hope it might not even be Resident Evil 7. That was just the rumor. But it was kind of like how the Phantom Pain turned out to be Metal Gear Solid 5. And The Evil Within might turn into Resident Evil 7. I don't know. Resident Evil is not a game series I am at all interested in. The movies suck. The games, I played a bit of Resident Evil 4 and I kind of liked it, but I remember not getting all that into it. And, you know, I think I might have to go and give that game another try one of these days. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Moving on. Assassin's Creed Unity / Comet. So, Unity, and like a thing flying through space, Comet. I don't care about Assassin's Creed. I didn't before Assassin's Creed 4, and I don't now. I played the game. I loved Assassin's Creed 4. I think it's one of the best games of last year, but only for the pirate elements. I think it would have been a really great pirate game if they just cut all the stupid Templar bullshit, and when you go to Ubisoft's office in the real world, that wasn't very clever, it wasn't very funny, it wasn't very ironic, it was just dumb. You know, if it was just a hard, gritty pirate sim, not gritty, but like a fun, swashbuckling pirate sim, I would have loved that game. And now that there's Assassin's Creed games, I think it's taking place in the French Revolution, I don't care. If you can get pirate ships in the French Revolution, I'm down. I'll give this a try if it's offered, but I'm just not that greatly interested. Destiny, nah. Alien Isolation. I think this might be the last one. I'm gonna go cut it off after this. Alien Isolation. This is the newest Alien game, and you know, there isn't that much good. Oh, wait. There's one more after this. I'm sorry. Alien Isolation, then it's Batman Arkham Knight. We'll get to that next. Alien Isolation, however. Alright, so last year, the big disastrous news was Aliens Colonial Marines, which was horrible. And there was so much false advertising. That was a huge disaster. That was a brouhaha of epic proportions. Everybody was pissed. The game was a piece of shit, from what I heard. I didn't play it. I don't play shitty games. I'm not going to waste my money on something like that. So, Alien Isolation, however, it looks like a really great horror movie. So, for once, people are actually, like, not adapting Aliens, the second movie. They're adapting the Ridley Scott movie, Alien, the 70s one, the good one. I don't want to say anything too bad, because I know everybody loves Aliens, the 80s one. The one with the giant robot and the flamethrowers and, you know, Private Hudson going, game over, man! Game over, man! You know, I love that movie too, it's great, but the really fantastic movie of those is the first one, Alien. That's a gorgeous movie. Watch it again. It's one of the best films ever made, I think. It's definitely one of the best sci-fi films. It's like it's actually they stole most of the creative team from Jodorowsky's Dune, and you could really see like there's such a great amount of tone and energy to it. It's more than just a haunted house film in space. It's really has something special in of itself, and this looks like a game that captures that feeling. It's a horror game. You're in space. It looks like the Ridley Scott movie, and you're running away from an alien. So I think if you manage to just make a game where it's just you're helpless against an alien, and you got to go and somehow or another survive to the end, that's going to be really intense. That's got to be really scary, because even in a regular game, even just any game at all, it is terrifying if there's an enemy you can't fight. It can be happy-go-lucky Mario stuff, and the sun in Super Mario 3. That thing's really scary. That thing's horrifying, because it comes down out of nowhere, and it screws you up. So Alien Isolation, keep your eye on that. I have a good feeling about that game. Anyway, last thing for the night. I'm going to cut this off early. Try to keep this under half hour, if possible. Batman Arkham Knight. I talked about the first trailer that came out. There's almost certainly going to be something at E3, but the game was just recently delayed a year, so it may not have anything. I'm hoping there's something. Because I love Batman Arkham City. I think I'd put that as one of the top 10 best games I've ever played. Arkham Origins I never played, because I thought it just looked like Arkham City again. Which it was, but I went back and I watched the cutscenes, and really, really good writing there. I gotta say that. It was a fantastic Joker and Batman story. Maybe not the best game, but, just go and watch the Joker scenes. You'll find a lot to love there. But Arkham Knight looks like they're really trying to step up their game. They're trying to do something more than it's just Batman jumping around the city that's just full of bad guys to punch. Because that's not really being Batman. That's Batman in a dystopia. I want to see Batman in Gotham City. I want to be like out there, I'm driving my Batmobile, and I stop, and there's an old lady getting mugged, and I want to go help her out. Because I want to be a superhero. This is kind of my thing. Somewhere in gaming, there's some people who just want to be a dick and blow people up. And I've done that in games. But what I really like to do is I like to be the guy that's helping people out. It's secretly my passion. I want to be a hero. And you know what? Batman and all his brooding and grittiness, somewhere deep down in every single adaptation, he's a hero at heart. And that's what I want to do. And the Batmobile looks awesome. It transforms into a tank or something like that. I don't even remember who the main bad guy is supposed to be. I think it's Scarecrow. It's not going to be Scarecrow by the end. There's always a twist of some sort. I'm just hoping, praying to God, it's not the Joker again. Don't bring him back. You can have Harley Quinn be the main bad guy, or the Joker's son, because I remember Harley Quinn was pregnant in Batman Arkham City, or thought she was pregnant. Maybe they'll do the storyline of Batman Return of the Joker, where they kidnap Tim Drake and they torture him until he becomes the Joker's son. That was really hardcore. I remember as a kid I saw that happening. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god! I watched all those Batman cartoons. That's taking things to a new level. By the way, that's the difference. If you're watching this Kojima. Bomb in a vagina? That's just stupid. Joker kidnapping Tim Drake and torturing him to make a son as a final FU to Batman? That's taking tension to a new level. That's doing it organically. That's a great climax. Okay? That's the difference, in case you're wondering. So yeah, it's Batman Arkham City again for the 4th time now. I guess the first one was Arkham Asylum, but that's an okay game too. But yeah, it's Batman again, but I'm just hoping they finally evolve the concept, and what I like is that they're promising this is going to be the end of the story. They're going to make more Batman games till the end of time, but, it's kind of like The Dark Knight Rises. I love that movie just because it concluded the saga. It might not be the best movie of the saga, I think it was the worst, frankly, but, you know what? It ended in a spectacular way. I can respect the story ending. And if this is maybe not the best game, I can still love it for what it's going to be. And I think it's going to be great, and I'm hoping it's at E3. So anyway, to conclude, I don't really have much to say for blog stuff, because there won't be any blog stuff this week, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to post, probably for a while. I think I might just post links every so often to what I'm doing on Wikia, whatever's happening there. Just try to keep you informed, because I'll be writing stuff. I know I think they're planning on filming me. So you'll be seeing my face, possibly for the first time, see what goes with this voice, and I really hope you're not disappointed. But, yeah, that's kind of where I gotta conclude. I wish I knew more of what's gonna happen, but on the other hand, I'm kind of glad I don't know, because it leaves this great era of uncertainty and excitement and possibility. So I think I'm going to have a great week. I hope I can go and make great material for all you people, all you space monkeys listening, wherever you are. And it's been great having you for this half hour. Keep listening if you like to. Or don't. I don't care. I'm here to entertain however I can. I want to be a hero in video games, and I want to just help people out. Maybe if I can just take a half hour off your time. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Oh God, oh God, oh God, I forgot, I knew I'd forget something, and of course I forgot only the biggest thing in my mind, and that's of course Final Fantasy 15! Oh boy. Yeah, I knew I'd screw this up, because I was in a rush. I don't have many illusions about Final Fantasy 15. After so many years of waiting for it when it was known as Versus 13, I really hope it's going to be there. And as a matter of fact, I think it's in Square Enix's best interest to have it there. Actually, I'd go one further. If they don't have Final Fantasy 15 in any kind at E3 this year, they're kind of throwing in the towel, kind of as a company. That's a huge, huge defeat for them. Because it's one thing, you can have a really slow game, but then once you kind of restart and reformat development, for the game to still be that slow and have that much trouble, not good. Not a good sign. I really hope Final Fantasy 15 gets there. It looks great. It looks like a Kingdom Hearts game with Final Fantasy on it. It doesn't make much difference to me. It's Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts. Speaking of which, Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't expect it to be there. I think it's going to be fun. I'd love to see it. I have a few ideas of what worlds they should have. One of which, Frozen, maybe. Love to see that. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not going to be there. At best, it's going to have a trailer. Final Fantasy 15, there's been nothing announced yet, but it really does need to be there if Square Enix wants to still be competitive, if they want Final Fantasy to still be meaningful. They gotta go and bring their A-game. And I know a few of their Western franchises, they don't really have anything coming out. So E3 for Square Enix this year is kind of a big open question. It's like, you got Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out down the line sometime, but where's Deus Ex? Where's Tomb Raider? Where's Hitman? Where's Sleeping Dogs? You think any of those games are going to show up? I don't know. I'd like to see them. I'd like to play them. Who knows? But anyway, Final Fantasy 15. I would be so excited. I'd be honored if I could play this next week. I don't have any illusions. That's why I forgot it, honestly. That must be why. You know what? No. There's no good excuse for forgetting Final Fantasy 15. I'm just an idiot. Anyway, once again, thank you, Space Monkeys, for listening. I've still been BlueHighwind, and I'm not adding anything else. So if I've forgotten something, just put it in a comment. I think Persona 5. Persona 5! Yeah, there you go. I said it. Bye! Good night.